Y'all have heard the song "You Deserve It."
Yes.
Right now, not only has it been big everywhere, but it's the most played song, the most added song right now to SOAR Radio. JJ Hairston on the line. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How y'all doing, man?
Hey, man.
Morning, how are
Morning.
Listen,
Great.
listen. "You Deserve It" has been taking the world by storm. Yeah, I've been seeing so many praise teams, so many choirs, so many churches implementing it. We're gonna get right into it. Did you think this song would take off as big as it has?
No way. I mean, honestly, when I first heard the song, because it was when I went to Kansas City, Missouri, I heard a pastor, the guy, Bishop Cortez Vaughn, who's singing the song with me. I heard him singing a piece of the song, and I fell in love with it then. And I guess what has happened is it affected other people the way it affected me that night, because it's a simple song and it's something that hasn't been said before. So I really just I wanted to put on a record just so people could love the song the way we did. I never thought that so many people would add it to their worship services. So we're really humbled by it.
Man, and I know you guys, if you have been under a cave, you have missed his hits such as "After This" and, "Incredible God" and "Lord You're Mighty," just to name a few. My favorite one was probably one of his first ones, which was "God is an Awesome God," if you guys remember.
You Are Worthy.
That You Are Worthy
That's
too.
awesome.
But "You Deserve It" to me is just not taken away from any of the other songs, but it's such an anthem, and it's so, I always say a good song is if the best to the worst singer can sing it anywhere, and I think that proves to be true.
That's very true.
That is good.
Amen.
Well, we intentionally made it very simple. I say it all the time. Sometimes I write songs and I really think about them, and I really am trying to be very intentional about making the words or the lyrics very impactful, and making sure the chord progressions and everything, the music is real good. And then sometimes there are these songs that are real simple and that we just kind of sing. And those are the songs that seem like people gravitate to. Like another "Lord You're Mighty" was one of those songs
Yes,
where, I intentionally made it very simple. I didn't really think about it much at all. And that was another song that we did not expect people to take to the way they did. So I guess the lesson I'm learning is that I got to keep my songs simple, and that's the song that people gravitate to. So again, I thank you for your support of the song and how you guys have just really embraced it.
Well,
and we're praying that it continues to impact people the way it has so far.
I got to ask you this. You were talking about how you didn't think "Lord You Mighty" would ever be as big. Do you ever go to a church and hear the praise team doing a rendition of your song that was not quite the way that you planned it to be? And do you ever kind of hear some of that?
It's so funny you said that. Somebody just asked me that yesterday. And just recently I went to a church, and there was a praise team that had a different version of "Lord You're Mighty." And it was cool. It just was like they tried to make "Lord You're Mighty" sound like "Chasing After You."
No, that's a bad remix. Oh.
Yeah, see?
Really?
No.
Was that with just the music or with the lyrics too?
Just the music.
Oh,
And they made, and what's bad about that is when they're doing it, they're all looking at you with this smile, like, ain't that good?
JJ, this is Reese, man. I had just a quick question. What inspires you when you sit down? Like, what inspires you to write? And also a double question: where do you write at? Where's your inspiration? Where do you get your inspiration? To write at? Do you like to write? In a personal room, or like do you write by the keyboard or piano? Where do you get your inspiration? Where do you write at?
That's so funny because my writing practices are real strange. For the last record, the I See Victory record, what I did was a whole month, because I didn't want to rewrite any music. Sometimes if you're writing music, you'll start whatever's in your head. That's what you'll start rewriting. So all of a sudden you write a song that sounds just like "Blessed" by Fred Hammond. You change the lyrics. So I'm very intentional about not listening to any music. And the last record, what I did was I just listened literally to the word for a month. So I went to YouTube every day and played Genesis 1:1, KJV. So I would listen to the word in my car and everything. And then after that, that's where these stories came from, different revelations that I got through what I heard. So that's how I wrote that record. But usually, most of my songs come out of worship experiences or something I went through. Like after this, I wrote because my mother was in the hospital battling cancer. So different things happened that caused me to write a song. But the funny thing is I write most of my songs either in the car or when I first wake up. I don't know what it is, but when I'm driving, I sometimes try not to listen to music, especially when it's writing season, because I only write in season. I don't just say, well, I'm going to write a song today, or songs don't just hit me unless it comes out of worship. Usually I intentionally say, okay, this is the season I have to write for a record. And when it's writing season, I get a lot of music in the car, or funny enough, before I'm about to get in the shower. I don't know what that is. It's just all of a sudden I get a song, and then I'm in the shower and I'm singing it, and then I finish it when I get in the car.
So, my question to you, and this is Ladita, good morning, is that I know that you pen all of your songs, but are you very active in also the music part as well?
Yeah, usually what I do is I have a musical director, because here's the crazy thing. I don't play. Everybody thinks I play keys or something like that. I mean, I know how to play. I mean, let me say this. I can figure my way around, put like that. But I really get with my band to make sure the music is doing what I need to. So when it's time for me to write, of course, I have to get with them to make sure it's right. And, sometimes musicians, they might not have the right interpretation of what you wanted to say. But I wrote most of my songs with my dude in Connecticut named Eric Davis. He was the mastermind behind all the orchestration or all the music prior to the record we just recorded. So he's a great guy, and he kind of knows exactly where I'm going when I'm writing. But there are some times where I get with other guys, and we've made music as well.
Awesome. Also, I want to ask you, you've been on this journey for a while now. How long exactly have you been on the journey? And before people really got wind of who Mr. JJ Hairston was. And were you with someone else prior to you coming out?
Well, yeah. With Youthful Praise, we've been actually recording gospel music for 15 years. But we had started singing before that. I'm not going to say how long, because then I'm going to try to figure out how old I am. So, our first record came out in 2001, but we were just a normal church choir singing on fourth Sundays at the church. We were the youth choir at the church. And also during that time, I was also singing with James Hall on Worship and Praise. And James Hall's a great guy, and I learned a lot from him in that season when I was traveling with them, because before that, we had no experience on what happens on the road when you're singing gospel music. So sometimes people have this dream of what happens. They think, you riding up to, all these lavish hotels and stuff like that. And I mean, we thank God now that we're in a season where we're doing well. But there was sometimes we would roll up to some outside hotels, man.
You had to watch your car.
Outside hotels are when you can get to any room from the outside door.
Oh, mercy. Have to shake your bags when you leave.
Well, you said it'll be glory after this, though. But I had to say too. You said that you guys start off as youth choir in your Youthful Praise. Are you guys still youthful in the praise, or since it's been 15 years? Or
our praise is youthful. Our age is not as youthful as our praise. But we've matured in this. But that's why I've been trying to start saying YP, because I'm trying to get like Ricky with New G, because you got to abbreviate it when you don't want to say the whole thing, and especially because people got to start saying, "Are you as young as you used to be?" No, I'm not. I came out 15 years ago.
So just to back off of that really, really quick, because that's really interesting. Did you take, because you guys started as a youth choir and then you progressed, do you have most of your singers that started with you still with you?
Surprisingly enough, there aren't many of the original singers at all. My wife is one. We have a few, but not many. What has happened with YP, which is great, is we now have a lot of lead singers that have come together to sing together. So it's like these are all worship leaders, ministers of music, people who actually have careers on their own, musical gifts on their own, that travel on their own, but we come together, and it's almost like a covering that we all have. So it's almost like a retreat from doing your thing on your own. There's a young lady named Brittany Wright who sings with me. She's awesome on her own. Tiffany Woodside from New Jersey, she's like a preacher, singer. So many great singers, but they all come together under my leadership, and they could all sing better than me, which blows me away because it's really humbling that they, even though they have such great gifts, they allow themselves to be under my leadership. It's really great.
JJ, this is Miss Terry, the oldest person in this room right now. I'm the senior in the group. But my question to you is, I'm fine, how are you? My question to you is for the young, inspiring singer. What advice would you give to somebody that's maybe 18, 19, 20, that's been in the church all their life? They may or may not be a musician, but they want to write. They have a gift for writing. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. What advice would you give to them?
There's a lot of things you can do. First thing I would say is start recording everything you write and listen to it. You know, because some people think that the songs they write are the only songs and they're the best songs. You got to start recording your songs and compare them to what's being sung now.
Okay.
And try to say something that's not being said. A lot of our songs are now saying the same thing because praise and worship has has keywords. Mighty, worthy, and see, a lot of my songs have it, rain. So I think one of the things that's happened with You Deserve It is something that hadn't been said before.
Right.
Try to say something that hasn't been said. Try to write a song that doesn't have the same progressions as all the other popular songs right now. And also try to find a group of singers that you can sing your songs to or have sing your songs, because once you start hearing people sing your song as opposed to you singing them by yourself, it takes on a different feel.
Yeah.
You'll start to hear how a song will come together when you hear harmony with people actually singing the harmony as opposed to you just, stacking it on like voice notes and stuff like that. So definitely get with some people that can sing your songs for you, and then try to sing them out. The best feedback you'll get is on the road. The best feedback you'll get is from people that actually react to your song.
That's right.
And I've seen that too. Listen, we don't have that long to go.
Hey, Allison here. How are you?
Hey, Allison.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay, so my question is, what are some of the gospel artists that you remember listening to growing up? Like something your mom might have been playing while she was taking you to school, or you remember listening to on Sunday mornings that actually like played a part in your growing up, or something you could reflect back on when you were going through something?
Well, I think the artists I remember listening to growing up, of course, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. So in Brooklyn, Bishop Hezekiah Walker was king. You know what I'm saying? So all the old records, I'll Make It. Then John P. Key, definitely a big inspiration.
We're around the same age then, I think. Look.
Yeah.
Kids.
And it wasn't until I started, when I got older and started leading praise and worship, I started listening to people like Israel Houghton and Fred Hammond. But when I was younger, it was all choir music. And surprisingly enough, when I first joined You for Praise, we listened to a lot of Thomas Whitfield. That's why we had such an old sound. Yeah, and we had an old sound when we were young.
Yeah, and I think to see how that sound has transcended, and a lot of it has been repeated. Listen, I want to actually, we're gonna flip gears. We don't have a lot of time left. You Deserve It has been blowing up, but now you have your own label. You got a new project coming out. Tell us, how is it going from a major to your own label, and when can we expect the project to come out?
Yeah, the label thing, that's just one of my biggest joys right now. What happened is we put out 7 albums with E1. Great people. They have been really good to me. And it was time to talk about doing something new, trying to renegotiate for a new contract. And we came together and said, well, as much as I've learned, as much as I've done, I think it's time for me to start my own. I'm in a season where I'm thinking ownership is what I need to do, especially when you start to get into your next phase of life, when you get a little older. You need to figure out what you've done and what you plan to do now. And that's where I was. Like, I want to own everything I'm doing. So I wanted to start my own label, but still have distribution. So E1 has allowed me to have my own label, my own imprint, and yet they're the distributor.
Awesome.
They're still helping me with marketing and everything. So it's really been great. It's a perfect partnership as opposed to me just getting 10 cents on a unit. So I'm really happy about that.
Educate them.
Absolutely. So, and that has been great because now everything we do is so much more rewarding. The single being out on my own label and doing as well as it has is really great, as opposed to if we had the same amount of success with this single as we did with the prior records. Well, it was on E1 as an artist deal. It was like, okay, this is cool. But now that it's on Jamestown, it's on my label, it's just so much more rewarding. And the whole record comes out on March 3rd. And it's a 15-year celebration. So we redid a lot of our big hits, and we did some new songs. So it's really great. We're really excited. We just finished mixing it, and we can't wait for everybody to hear it.
And the thing about when you look at your projects, even versus now, even your last project has so many artist appearances, from Karen Clark Sheard to Deion Kippen to Jason Nelson and so many others. How do you decide, even with the new project, who do you have lead your songs? How do you pick that?
Well, the funny thing is, usually what we do is I write the song and then I try to figure out who's best on the record, who's best on the song. But this time, I intentionally said I'm not going to have any guests, because what we've done, we've written these songs and we think that if you put this guest on it, then this song's going to blow up. And then the song that really hits is a song that has no guests, or somebody like Bishop Eric McDaniels, who's just a friend, not somebody who's a big star in gospel music. So I say, you know what? I'm going to have all my singers sing. I have so many great singers that have aligned themselves with me and been a part of my ministry, so I want to be able to feature them. So this next record has all singers from YP, and Miranda Willis is the only one. She still sings with us, but of course, things have happened. Miranda Curtis, sorry. Things have happened so much for her that now she's had to go out on her own, so she's on the record as well. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be great.
Well, I love it. I want to ask you the last thing. We actually, you have something that's going to be taking place on Fridays at SOAR Radio, starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've partnered up. Can you tell them a little bit about what that is?
Yes, the amazing love notes. Other than Jamestown, my biggest thing that I'm just pushing right now that I'm so excited about is marriage. My wife and I have a marriage ministry called Amazing Love. For those who don't know, initially, my wife and I got married, really young. Right out of high school. Yeah. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't go to counseling. We just went to a justice of the peace and said, good, we married now. And we went through years of trying times in our marriage. We were separated. We were on our way to divorce. And then we took some steps to turn everything around. And God has healed our marriage. We've now been married 22 years.
Wow.
And it's been an awesome experience. So now what we're trying to do is share with younger couples, either who are just getting married or have been married and they're dealing with some issues. We're trying to share with them to help them grow. And every week on SOAR Radio, we're going to be sharing just quick tips of things we've done to repair our marriage, and hopefully it'll help someone either, again, that's going through something, or somebody just needs to be strengthened. Even though you may be good, but you may need to be strengthened. So that's what we're looking to do, and we're happy to partner with SOAR Radio to help heal, repair, and strengthen marriages. And
I just want to say publicly, I thank you for partnering up and reaching out, and I thank you for being. I haven't known JJ a very long time, but one thing that I do know, and I've heard from several people in the industry, he has a genuine spirit. Listen, when you've worked with a lot of artists in the industry, whether writing, when you've been, you've hosted events and different things, when people are genuine and when they're not. So I will have to say he will fully get my support, because I can tell he's genuine, and God blesses that. So I just want to say thanks, man, for your spirit.
Thank you, man. I'm honored, and honestly, I'm telling everybody, I'm bragging on what you're doing. What you guys are doing is just huge. You're going to change the game in gospel music, and I'm happy to partner with somebody who's looking to do some forward and aggressive and progressive things. So this is gonna be great. I'm excited.
Well, I appreciate that, bro. Well, before we go, I ask every guest 4 random questions, and I do a drum roll. They're kind of scary. No, they're not scary, but you just have to say the first thing that comes to mind. Don't overthink it. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing is, who is your favorite new artist in gospel that's out now? If you had to pick one.
Travis Green.
Travis Green. Okay.
Yes.
Second one, what would be a gospel song that was out that you was like, man, I wish I would have wrote that song?
Wow. Okay. Made Away.
Maybe Travis Green. Okay.
Made away money.
You get some publishing check. Something else.
Right.
What if you weren't doing music as your career, what would you be doing right now?
I'll be a computer programmer.
Wow.
Oh, that's way different.
Wow. Okay. And the last.
I was. That's what I went to school for.
Oh, the computer program. And look at what God did. Listen, the last question. Who is probably somebody in the industry that you would consider a friend or close to that most people maybe not even, they wouldn't have any idea?
Donnie McClurkin.
Wow.
Okay.
A lot of wisdom.
Yeah, he's a really great friend, and people don't know. Like he's really helped my wife and I, and he's a great friend to us.
Wow. Well, those are definitely some heavy hitters. Once again, I want to thank you, JJ Hairston. We're going to keep blowing up. You deserve it. We're going to keep playing it and everything else that comes. Yeah, we're gonna
Yes,
we gotta bring him
looking
here.
forward to
Rapper.
meeting you personally.
We gotta bring him here.
Please.
We gotta bring him. And then too, also don't forget, Love Notes will be on starting tomorrow, 8:20 Eastern time, but 7:20 our time Central.
Yes.
One more time before you go, let them know where they can get the single, how they can get your handles, get in contact with you, all of that.
You can get the single all over digital media. So it's on Amazon, it's on iTunes, it's on Google Play. You can download it today. You can download it right now. I'm all over social media. Facebook is Youthful Praise. Instagram is at JJ Hairston. Twitter is JJ_Hairston. So hit me up. It's all me. I don't have a rep answering for me. I get tired of posting all these things, but I got to. So y'all be patient. But follow me, and I love to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate you, bro. We'll hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Bye-bye.